The freshwater king salmon that is farmed in the hydro canals has a very unique texture, quite a delicate texture, but at the same time low in fat content, and perfect for cooking, for sashimi, for baking. After hearing about the proposal to set up the salmon farm 22 years ago, the power companies were a bit dubious and had a good laugh about it. Not many people believed that farming king salmon in the hydro canals was possible, but after 22 years of farming in the canals, it's obvious that it's working quite well. The king salmon that are farmed in the hydro canals has a very unique texture. This is because of the constant flow that runs past the cages and the glacial fed water. That results in a harvested fish that has a delicate texture. Freshwater king salmon is globally sought after because of its eating qualities. However, there's not many farms that are farming it, and the demand outweighs the supply by a long way. Being an aquaculture technician means that you are constantly walking around the farm, observing the fish, observing the behaviour of the fish. The first job when arriving in the morning is checking the oxygen and the temperature of the water, as this is extremely important for the health and the survival of the fish.
That button? Do you turn it on? Hold the button. OxyGuard. It'll start showing up some numbers.
Yes.
Don't worry about that. What you want to do is press OK.
Yes.
And it says calibrate.
Okay.
So press calibrate. And it says please wipe the membrane. So what you do there is you take this blue roll,
Okay.
you take the wand, toss it in.
After checking the oxygen and the temperature, the aquaculture technicians go out onto the farm and start feeding the fish. This is done first thing in the morning before the water temperature gets too hot, and each day the aquaculture technician is told how much to feed the fish, and usually they're feeding them until they're full. Harvesting is another job which is done first thing in the morning. This happens as early as possible and usually made up of a team of 3 people who go out on the farm and collect as many fish as are required to be sold that day. From there the fish are taken to a gill and gut room where they're gilled, gutted and cleaned, and then they move on into the processing room.
Wiggle a little bit and then just slide. And like that. That's one foot, take off the wing, put the fish. Again, repeat, go around the wing, till you hit the spine. Hit the spine, tune your knife, and slide down your fish like that, down the spine.
Important to check the nets every day because you need to ensure that the nets are clean. If they're not clean, they need to be cleaned to ensure the flow of water through them. And if you notice any holes in the nets, it's very important to fix them as soon as possible. We have a net cleaner that we use as often as possible. The net cleaner uses water pressure to take off all of the algae. This is done mostly in summer, just because the growth of the algae is a lot higher than it is in the winter and the colder temperatures. One of our main goals farming salmon in the hydro canals is doing it as sustainably as possible. That is to ensure that we can farm salmon here for as long as possible.